There was a study actually in the military, and what they found was, yes, there was a very significant improvement, i.e. a lower risk of getting the common cold in Korea. More than 80% turned to be vitamin C insufficient. Vitamin C is mainly known for its role in immune health, but what many people don't realize is that there are many other benefits as well. In my experience, I joined DSM-Firmenich full-time, and that's already 20 years ago, for the marketing of our global vitamins portfolio between the years of about 2012 to 2017. In my experience, I would say that the Korean consumer is probably the most sophisticated consumer that we see all around the world when it comes to understanding about nutrition. What we see in Korea more and more is a trend towards really going into the detail of understanding where did the ingredients come from in their nutritional products, and that might be functional food products, fortified foods and beverages, but also supplements as well. In many countries around the world, everybody is just looking at the brand of the product, whereas in Korea what we see is consumers really care about not just the brand, also where do the ingredients come from and how are those ingredients manufactured. So I came to Korea about 10 years ago. My experience of Korea, I think it's changed dramatically in the last 10 years. Korea today is a super fashionable, really trendy place. It is leading trends throughout the world. And I think you have to be really proud as a nation, but that also, of course, comes with certain pressure, and I know people are working very hard here, and there's a strong drive to succeed. So it is about finding that balance, striving for success in a very fast-paced society. There's two sports that I really enjoy the most. One is cycling, and I do a lot of bike races, and the other one is triathlon. I had an experience, I think it was last year. I had kind of set up my whole training regime around this one big bicycle race. And then about 10 or maybe 7 days before the start of the race, I just started to get a bit of a tickle in the throat. You know, I started to have a bit congested nose, I was coughing, just spent so much time preparing for this race, and now I'm starting to get sick. In DSM-Firmenich, and I have obviously a firm interest in nutrition, I thought, how can I fix this, right? So one was increase my amount of sleep, and the other thing I did is I increased my intake of vitamin C. I actually was not perfect, but pretty much fully healthy come race day. So since that experience, I've got my little tub of vitamin C sitting on the kitchen counter, and always make sure that I get enough vitamin C in every day. Even as a young kid, I remember we had these little vitamin supplements. They were a bit like candies, but they had vitamins in them. So already then I was taking supplements. It must be more than 20 years. But in my experience, when I know that I have sufficient vitamin C every day on a regular basis, I can clearly see that I'm getting sick less often. And that's, for me, it's a major topic. You know, doing a lot of sport, I'm traveling a lot for my job, you know, always a bit stressed, you know, managing a young family. Knowing if I have enough vitamin C, then I get sick less, and it's also typically I have less severe symptoms if I do get a cough or a cold. That for me already makes quite a big difference. But what's really interesting, we're living in an age now where real, genuine vitamin C deficiency is quite rare. So when I talk about vitamin C deficiency, I'm talking about conditions like scurvy, which, you know, that's how vitamin C was sort of discovered many years ago. People discovered that if they didn't have enough fruits and vegetables in their diet, they would have problems with scurvy. That's quite rare nowadays, thankfully. But we do still see large swathes of the population who do not get sufficient vitamin C. So for example, adolescents in Korea, more than 80% what we term to be vitamin C insufficient. So they're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, they're not taking enough supplements, and it would be quite an easy one to help such a population to just increase the vitamin C intake a little bit, because you do get more protection from common illnesses, from viruses, but also things like energy levels and collagen, how your skin looks, how your skin repairs itself. These are all things that are really impacted by vitamin C levels. There was a study actually in the military. So here in Korea, the military wanted to find out, is there any compound that could reduce the risk and also the severity of common cold in its soldiers? They took more than 1,000 military officers over a period of time, I think it was around 30 days. And they really, during cold season, they wanted to understand if there's a group of soldiers who increase their vitamin C level, will that result in reduced incidence of the common cold? And also, will it reduce the severity? And what they found was, yes, there was a very significant improvement, i.e. a lower risk of getting the common cold and also less severe when they got it. So it works for soldiers. The other benefit that's known for vitamin C is it plays a very, very important role in the synthesis of collagen. Now, collagen itself is, a lot of interest when it comes to beauty, and that's because it's so important to how your skin behaves, how your skin looks. And so vitamin C has an important role in collagen synthesis. That's also why it's so important from a skin healing perspective to play in making sure that your skin is as healthy as it can be. I think vitamin C is mainly known by consumers, and especially since COVID, for its role in immune health. But what many people don't realize is that there are many other benefits as well. For example, there's a very important role for vitamin C in terms of making sure that you have enough regeneration for bone health, for cartilage health, but even topics like blood flow. And it's also known that if your vitamin C level is too low, then you start to get symptoms like tiredness and fatigue because of issues with iron absorption. So it's not just immunity, there's a whole range of additional health benefits, also in terms of the antioxidant function of vitamin C, and there's more and more research being undertaken by DSM-Firmenich, but also by other independent research institutes as well. It's for vitamin C around mental health. There is also a fair logic, because we know that, for example, in Europe, there's an approved health claim that vitamin C supports normal psychological function. We know that it has an antioxidant effect when it comes to protecting neurons. So there are some sort of logical mechanisms as to how vitamin C could play a role in promoting mood and promoting mental well-being. So the sort of basic minimum level that's advisable is somewhere around 200, 250 milligrams per day. That's sort of the RDA, if you like. What we're seeing is that many people are finding benefits from taking a little bit higher dosages. Myself, I like to take something in the half a gram to 1 gram per day range. That seems to be what I need from a maintenance perspective. And if I start to get sick, then I'll increase the dosage, maybe 2 grams in that range. I don't find I have any no gastrointestinal. It just helps to give me a little bit more support from an immunity perspective. But also, there have been quite some studies for many, many years already to understand, can vitamin C be used not really anymore as a nutrient, but actually as a pharmaceutical ingredient at very, very high dosages. I mean, we're talking even higher than 10 grams per day in some cases. And there's been a wide variety of endpoints studied with things like cardiovascular disease, even cancer, sepsis, lots of different applications. We see that the applications around vitamin C go beyond its use simply as a nutrient, which is very important for supporting normal physiological functions. And people are more and more looking, are there more pharmaceutical benefits for vitamin C at very high levels? So more research is needed, and we are continuing to support that kind of research. And let's see what else will be discovered for vitamin C in the future. A few things I look at. I look at where the product is made, right? So I want to make sure that I recognize it's from a country of origin that I trust. I care about where the product is made. I also care about where the ingredient is made, because having toured around the world and seen a lot of different ingredient manufacturing sites, I know that the country of origin, also the ingredient, makes a really big difference. And then I would choose the right dosage based on what kind of health benefits I'm looking for from that product. And I would choose a format that appeals to me. For example, for my kids, I make sure that it's an interesting, an exciting format, like a chewable, something that tastes nice, that they're going to ask me for rather than I have to force them to take it. So those are a few of the things that I'll be looking for. So there's quite a few products on the market in Korea and around the world that contain our vitamin C, the stuff that's really produced in Scotland. And then the question becomes, well, as a consumer, how can I tell the difference between Chinese vitamin C and DSM-Firmenich vitamin C produced in the UK? And the answer is very simple. If it has a little logo that says Quali C, it's containing our ingredient produced in the UK. If it doesn't have that logo, there's a pretty good chance that it's coming from China. DSM-Firmenich has a very long history in the field of nutrition. We are the organization that first started producing vitamin C back in 1934. And for us, it's always been a very important part of the value we bring that we have this incredible source of vitamin C coming from the United Kingdom. It's actually up in Scotland. And I visited the facility many many times, landscape around the manufacturing facility, the cleanness of the air and the purity of the water, also the way that the manufacturing operations are actually set up. This is really the most high quality manufacturing site for vitamin C all around the world. And so as an employee of DSM-Firmenich, the big topic now is all around sustainability. So we're bringing health to our customers and to our consumers. We want to make sure that we do that in a way where we're also protecting the planet. So we've done a life cycle analysis of the way that we produce vitamin C in the United Kingdom. And we actually found out that for every kilogram of vitamin C that we produce, 50% less carbon dioxide emissions than our competitors do. So we can really say that if our customers choose to buy their vitamin C from DSM-Firmenich, they will be saving really quite significant amounts of carbon dioxide, but also things like particulate pollution, the amount of particulates that are released into the air. We really make sure that we're minimizing that, and we can demonstrate that we have less pollutants going into the air for every kilogram of vitamin C that we produce versus many of our competitors. My big advice is it has to be the priority. You can always make more money, you can always learn new things, but when it comes to health, you should make health your priority. There's some really simple things you need to do. Make sure that you get a good basic diet. Make sure that you have the right nutrient levels, and many people find a significant benefit from taking some supplements to fill any gaps you might have in your diet. And then make sure you get enough activity. Find some sports that you like. If you don't like doing sports, find some activities you like. It can be walking, it can be gardening. What I find really interesting is normally, as someone who's interested in health and well-being, if I ask someone, what is the most important thing to you? Right, they will typically say, probably they will say their family, and probably they will say their health. When you then ask, so where do you spend most of your time? They will probably not say family and health. And I find that really interesting because we are not spending the biggest part of our focus and our energy on the things that we say are most important to us. So my advice would be is, if you believe that health is a priority to you, then you have to make time for it. Make time for exercise, make time for the right kind of nutrition. And what I have found on my own personal journey is when you start to make time, it also becomes easier because it starts to become your habit. Because yesterday the team was showing me around some health shops here in Seoul. I was asked to do a stress test based on heart rate variability to estimate how much stress I have. Good news was that my stress was relatively low, and somehow they were able to measure that my way of managing stress is also quite well developed. Somebody in the team then asked, what is the most stressful thing you do in your life? And I said, standing on the start line of an Ironman. That's probably the most stressful thing that I do. So maybe too much sport can also be stressful, and probably that's really the answer. You have to find the balance. Doing too much sport will also be stressful, but for sure, getting some activity in your life and making sure that you have the right nutrition will definitely help you to manage your emotional well-being and also your stress levels.